All right. Hello, YouTube Internet. My name is Tyler, and I am starting this YouTube channel called Tyler Vinyl, where I'm going to talk about my vinyl collection. Of course, what else would it be? So I'm pretty nervous to get this first video out of the way. And I figure I'm going to start by doing my top 15 releases from 2020. Not necessarily my top albums of the year list, but just the things that were released in 2020 that I have picked up physically on vinyl. I think it makes sense, so let's get into it. Coming in at number 15, and I ordered these kind of quickly, so don't put a whole bunch of consideration, or I didn't put a bunch of consideration really into how I'm ordering them. I just kind of did it on a whim. Really only like maybe the top 3 or 4 like definitive. Everything after that could kind of be a tie. And there's some stuff that that was released this year that I'm trying to get my hands on that is not going to end up making this list, but maybe if I make a list of my top albums at the end of the year, there'll be some things on that I won't have. So yeah, so 15, I'm giving it to Thundercats' new album. It Is What It Is. Kind of a new fan to Thundercat in the last year or so, and haven't had a chance to pick up any of his other stuff yet. So this is the first Thundercat album that I got. Yeah, I can kind of open them up. Really nice, trippy gatefold. And then I think it's a limited edition, although it's probably not that limited because he's so popular. Nice clear vinyl. Yeah, it's coming in at 15 for me, just because I haven't really listened to it that much. I need to listen to it more to kind of score it higher. Maybe listen to it 2 or 3 times. And it seems pretty solid overall. I think I like Drunk the best out of his albums, but this might be a close second. Yeah. So at 14, we've got Com Truise's In Decay 2. I'm a pretty big Com Truise fan. I have a few other of his albums. Really trippy, electronic, synthwave producer, and he comes out with an album that's got a lot of his rarities and B-sides and unreleased stuff. I really want In Decay 1, but that's kind of an expensive one to get. You're looking to pay at least close to $100 to find that. So I was able to get this on pre-order, this crazy looking colorway. It's a double, so there's 2 of these things. Look at that. Yeah. I'm so nervous. Talking to myself. What are people going to say in the comments? All these things are things going on in your head when you do this kind of thing. But I got some whiskey with some Di Serrano in there. All right, 13. FM Skyline, Lightwear. Now this one is probably could be ranked higher. Another one where if I listen to it more, I've only listened to it maybe 2 or 3 times since getting it. This is going to be some Vaporwave from the 100% Electronica label. Really just been obsessed with that label recently. I'm a big Vaporwave and synthwave guy, if you can't tell already. Got the Eyeliner album there. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to talk a whole much, really, about each album. I don't want this to be too long a video. If you know it, you know it. If you don't, you might want to look them up, but yeah. Marble Madness, has got to say, if I were to say something, Marble Madness is my favorite track off of this one. All right, coming in at number, what are we at now? 15, 14, 13, we're at 12 now. Sonic Boom's All Things Being Equal. Sonic Boom of the band Spacemen 3. his solo album. I don't think he's released a solo album in like 20 years. I think he's released some stuff here and there under like Spectrum and EAR. I have some Spectrum albums. I don't have any of this EAR stuff. That's kind of really heady and out there. Standard black vinyl on this one. There was a lot of cool colorways I could have got, but I was a little late to the pre-orders. But you know what? Black supposedly just sounds the best anyway, so I'm always okay to just settle for a black vinyl. Kind of tough to get this one in here. All right, thick inner sleeve. Coming in at number 11 now, we have Starfucker, or STRFKR, as they've recently kind of changed their name to. Huge Starfucker fan. I've been a fan of these guys since like 2009 or 10. I've seen like 8 of their shows. I live in Seattle. They're from Portland, so they've been up a lot. Just they put on the best live show you could ever go to. Just dancey, flamboyant, balloons, blow up dolls, crowd surfing, the whole 9 yards, the whole 10 yards. And this album is kind of a return to, I guess they've always had a good mix of rock and electronic dance stuff, but this album is definitely more like kind of psychedelic rock, which I appreciate. I love that side of it. There's kind of more mellow tracks in here too. It's not all just one big dance party, but they usually mix up dancey and mellow from each album. All right, coming in, we're in the top 10 now. We have Washed Out's Purple Noon. This album would go higher if I liked, I absolutely love side A of this album. The first half is great. Side B is a little more mellow, which is fine, but it didn't catch me as much, which is a little disappointing because I'm a huge Washed Out fan. So, and when I first heard the singles from this album, I was thinking, oh man, this could be album of the year for me at a clear vinyl. But still really solid, great production as always, just putting you in a world of, washy synths and just really setting. The cover, it sounds just like this cover. He really does a good job of building the atmosphere. Yeah. All right. Whew, gotta catch my breath. I'm getting a little winded. It's weird just talking out loud to myself. All right. Number 9, Dan Mason, Forever Nothing. This is another release off of 100% Electronica. You could call this Vaporwave. He's been like a Vaporwave artist, but this album, more than any of his other releases now, he has a lot of vocals. He adds a lot of vocals to this, so it's kind of like synth pop now, which I don't know. I always struggle calling things with like vocals and a verse and choruses Vaporwave. It's kind of, I don't know what we're gonna, is it just chill wave? The genre is always forever evolving. Really nice, just matte pink there. Looks like that could go along with Ariel Pink's Pom Pom album, which I have. And these two back to back look real nice. Look at that. I'm really big into aesthetics. I make a lot of art in my spare time, so look at that. I could see a scenario where I got these up on the same day. That's hot. All right, number 8, Windows 96 Glass Prism. Another 100% Electronica release. I'm obsessed, I know. A little biased here. But this is just a solid Vaporwave album. All instrumental. There's some vocals actually. They're really distorted though. Nice little kind of swampy green, transparent. Yeah, he does a great job of kind of getting, it's like a good mix of computer software sounds with some like subtle touches of some video game sounds too. Obviously, with a name like Windows 96, you're gonna think there's gonna be some like 90s computer sounds in there, and there is, but great beats, great melodies, solid from start to finish. I mean, you just throw this on, do whatever, do dishes, clean. Great album for that. All right, what are we at here? That was 8, so it's 7 now. Um, Video Age, Pleasure Line. This is a band I've known about for a couple years. Kind of just found them cruising Bandcamp or Spotify. I don't know a ton about them. There's another indie rock band that does a lot of like, uses a lot of synthesizers. It's kind of like, you know, I don't know, like Mile High Club and a little bit of Mac DeMarco inspired, kind of the vibe, but definitely not, way more synthy and like more probably influenced by 80s synth pop than those two bands. Favorite tracks on this thing, I love the song Aerostar. It's so weird and quirky, but it's just so catchy. Pleasure Line 2, the very first song, title track, is great. Yeah, solid all the way through. Great production. Love this thing. Check this out. Number 6. All right, so my favorite band of all time, and this might be a giveaway of what's going to come later, is Tame Impala. And this is going to be a solo album from one of the members of Tame Impala, Gum. Also a member of, sure I have here, Pond, another one of my favorite bands. Knowing about them from Tame Impala. Been to lots of their shows, have like all of their records. So I'm going to scoop up anything those guys put out. And this is his newest album. I think it's his 5th solo album now. It's called Out in the World, and it is just fantastic psych pop, psych rock. Great stuff. Oh, here comes my cat. Oh, this is Scooter's. Well, just Scooter, but sometimes I put an S on the end. It sounds better. He is the most loving, affectionate cat. Look at that. He rubs my face. You gonna come mess up Daddy's video? Oh. He's a show off. Alright, I gotta review stuff. Come on. Hop down. Yeah, we're gonna try and do it with them. So, coming in at number 6. This is an artist I recently discovered, Winter. Her album Endless Space, parentheses, Between You and I. Yeah, this is like just some amazing like psych pop, psych rock, a lot like what it says here on the hype sticker, Melody's Echo Chamber, Broadcast, and Cocteau Twins. Yeah, I don't know where she came from, but this is her debut album. She's had some singles out for a while, some EPs. I think it's her debut album. I might be wrong there, but this thing just rips. It's kind of a lot like Vinyl Williams too, and like where he just like builds these like really layered and textured worlds, and her melodies and her voice is just, it's just transportational. Scooter, what are you doing? All right, we're down to the top 4. So this is where I was saying, like, these are really my favorites. So, number 4, another band I discovered this year, the Undercover Dream Lovers. It's All in Your Head. This is some great synth pop, indie rock. To me, it sounds a lot like Starfucker a lot of the times, which I'm okay with. Like, they have a song featuring Dent May. If you know Dent May, he's kind of in that world too. And this thing is so good. I don't know how, I'm so bad at explaining things and using my words, but yeah, this thing's solid all the way through. Like every song is just a killer pop song. Great production. I love it all. That's my Trump impersonation. All right. Number 3, Brother Tigers. Gosh, I forgot what this was called. That's my number 3, Paradise Lost. And you can see I'm a huge Brother Tiger fan. I have one of his hats here. So that's a little embarrassing. Anyway, this thing, get out of here, is just great. Black vinyl. Yeah, it's so hard to explain people's sounds or what the music sounds like. I need to learn how to do that, you know, a little better. But this is going to be some like great electronic synth pop. Again, everything I'm reading is like synth pop. I love synth pop. The side one is amazing. Found, Mainsail, Shelter Cone, Live In, Cannonball. Those are all just like, I don't know which one's I think Live In is probably my favorite song. And side B, you know, just as good too. It's a little, maybe not as good, almost in the same vein as this album, where I feel like side ones of these are just fantastic. I think this one makes up for it on side B a little more than Washed Out's. The last song is really good, Paradise Lost, title track. It's got this like Tycho inspired synth melody that goes with it, which is kind of a lot what he's sounding like. If you know Brother Tiger, he's released these Fundamentals series, kind of EPs. I hope they get released in vinyls. Fundamentals Volume 1 and 2. Check those out too, because those are also amazing. It would definitely make this list if they were on vinyl. All right, number 2. Best album cover of the year, hands down. Donny Benet's Mr. Experience. Great back cover too. If you've never heard of Donny Benet, he is an Australian singer, songwriter, performer, just general goofball. I mean, obviously, he makes these songs that they're like tongue in cheek. They're kind of some humor to them, but the production is so good. The songwriting is so good. Like you wouldn't know like if he had like would change his lyrics or the way he sang sometimes. Like it could be just straight up out of the 80s. Like he just nails the whole aesthetic. I love the song Reach Out and the title track Mr. Experience. Just there's so many, just this is a banger album. Go listen to it. You'll have fun. All right, so number 1, here's time for me to geek out. It's Tame Impala's The Slow Rush. Oh, so good. Kevin Parker never ceases to amaze me with each release that he puts out. And I was able to get a nice limited edition gold and red splatter. Because I'm so cool, I've got the cool colored vinyl. But yeah, if you don't know Tame Impala, Australian psych rock mastermind Kevin Parker. A lot of times people think he is a band because they perform as a band and take a lot of press photos as a band. But more recently, he's kind of coming out as a solo artist and collaborator with a lot of people from like Lady Gaga to Travis Scott and a bunch of like music that I'm not necessarily into, a lot of like mainstream pop. But I still think it's Mark Ronson. He's collaborated with a bunch, but it's still cool that he's getting his name out there. He's getting the recognition he deserves because, I mean, the way he's able to kind of like invoke emotion in his songs, as well as just being like a great producer, and like it just sounds amazing and new and fresh. There's like, I mean, really nothing else that sounds like him unless it's people that are trying to sound like him, which there are definitely a lot of that these days. And I'm okay with that. If I hear something, some new band, and I'm like, this sounds like Tame Impala, like I'll keep listening to it. I might buy it because it's like I just love that sound. Yeah. All right. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Might be a bit of a ramble. I still got to decide if I want to keep it the whole thing as one big ramble or edit out the best parts. Yeah. Let me know what you think. Or do the whole thing where you link to subscribe down below and yo.